So yeah, bro, I appreciate you sharing your credentials and even taking the time out to do this for me. And I'm pretty sure the people would like to know, you know, outside the tie, outside the profession, like, what is your experience with depression? Like, what caused it for you, and how was that time frame for you? You know, like,
Gotcha. When I'm gone, treat my music like a souvenir. All my flows deep, I'm in the booth with some scuba gear.
Depression. Mike, I gotta be honest with you, man. My experience with depression is no different than I say most people. In a sense that, man, for me, I like to describe it to people like, as a kid, I can like remember my mother attaching, when I show up to parties, a balloon to my wrist. And everywhere I went, guess what followed me? This balloon.
Yeah.
Man, with my experience with depression, that's what it felt like for me, man. I was 25. No matter what good things was happening in my life, it felt as if this cloud was following me, as if this cloud had been specifically prescribed to me, that even when my best days, even when I had good days, this cloud was there to remind me that things ain't what it seemed to be. And because of that, man, I found myself pretty much feeling hopeless. Got to the point where I didn't have motivation. I was calling off of work, wasn't showing up to class, was distancing myself from people. I just wasn't myself, man. And I had to be honest with you, because people knew me as being this positive individual, I didn't want people to see me like that. So because people knew me as being positive, I tried to hide until I felt as if I could be positive for them. And to be honest, man, I think I make the same mistake that most people make, is that when they experience depression, they withdraw, they seclude, they isolate. And I know this talk isn't about suicide, but if we did our study, we recognize that people start to entertain suicide once isolation pays them a visit. And I gotta be honest, man, isolation just moved in. I'm not saying that it got to the point where I was being suicidal, but I have to be honest, all of my thoughts wasn't pure. I really just wanted that pain to stop. And unfortunately, the way that I was thinking, it wasn't going to lead me to things being pain-free. I had an unhealthy way of looking at things. In fact, I found myself dwelling on past regret, ruminating on past mistakes, to a point that I was just paralyzed. I just felt as if I was frozen. Does it make sense? And it got to a degree, man, where honestly, I felt as if, man, I lost my sense of significance, my sense of purpose. Things got so dark for me in my life where I felt as if I couldn't bring any light to anyone else.
Man, so that sounds like, you know, what I've experienced and what many others have. So I think it was important to, you know, share with the people what got you out of that. Like what tools or what different practices helped you overcome your depression?
Great question, man. I have to literally lead with this, man. I smile, but I'm hard-headed. And because I was hard-headed before, I got the right help. I entertained the wrong help. Meaning that I tried to work it out myself, as well as I tried to talk to other people who could listen but couldn't give me real advice to change my situation. So instantly, before I even talked to a specialist, I recognized that I need to switch up who I was talking to. And for somebody to listen to me right now, you may not be ready for therapy. So a tool for you right away is to evaluate who are you lending your ear to. Because whoever you're lending your ear to is going to control your year, is going to have influence on your emotional, mental health. And the truth is, just like me, you got some homework. And the homework is what? Get rid of the habits, get rid of the thought patterns, get rid of the people, despite their title, meaning it could be friends or family, that's adding to this depression. What helped for me, man, to be honest, was the journaling. Journaling was powerful because I wasn't ready to let the world know that I wasn't who I was portraying myself to be. But through journaling, it gave me the opportunity to take what I was dealing with and dwelling on up here. It allowed me to put it on paper. It conditioned me that it's okay to let out, whether it's unpolished or not, the things that I struggle with. And from that, what I did, I finally broke down and connected with the specialist. And the reason I did that is because I recognized that, you know what, I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of dealing with this. And no different than I do with my vehicle is that when it breaks down, I take it to somebody who specializes in it. I did that same thing with my mind. I got to the point where, like, let me contact someone that specializes in this. And once I connected with my counselor, what it does for me, it allowed me to identify the sources of my depression. What is the thinking? that's distorted? What is the irrational, concrete beliefs that I've developed that it is fueling this unhelpful way of thinking, that's fueling this deep sadness? And from that, we was able to reinterpret it in a way that gives me meaning, that gave me power, that lets me know that, you know what? I don't have to always be like this, that I have control of being able to change my situation. And that really helped me. Once I realized that I don't have to remain hopeless or powerless, that I too, with the right tools, can change how I'm currently feeling. I would say this, the final thing that I would want the people watching this to know, Mike. One, let me say, Mike, I shout you out, man. Simply because you're at a place where you're open about what you're struggling with. And behind the camera, I say all these hype things about you, but one of the things I value about you is that you're at a place where you're allowing yourself to be open, to let people know, although you're crazy gifted and talented, you struggle just like them. So I wanted to shout you out for exposing what easy some people can label as a weakness, but really your strength. But I would love to end with this quote. It's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy on the outside can do you no harm. And I want to end with that because for many of us, the deep sadness that we feel is because we haven't addressed the enemy within. And I say that to people because I really encourage and endorse people to follow the steps Mike is taking. Become whole, become healed. Why? Because if you transform it, you don't got to worry about it being transferred to anyone else, whether it's your friends, whether it's your kids. But it can stop with you. Because no matter how perfect you may be, no matter how much money you have, no matter the degrees, no matter even the people you may know, it's one thing that I do know, and that's life happens.
I'm here to share my story, open to the questions you ask. We all have plans set we want to see finished that might happen in between the good, bad, and the ugly. Life happens.